Okay. Welcome, everyone, to the August 15th, 2022 meeting of the Delaware County Board of Commissioners. Would you please join me in reciting the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome again. I'm Barb Lewis, President of the Board. To my right is our Vice President, Jeff Benton. To my left, fellow Commissioner Gary Merrill, our Administrator, Tracy Davies, our Deputy Administrator, Don Houston, and our Clerk, Jennifer Walraven. We can begin.
Resolution number 22-665, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from regular meeting held August 8th, 2022, and special meetings held August 11th and August 12th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-665. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We do not have any public comment today, so that brings us to item number 3, resolution number 22-666, in the matter of approving purchase orders and in-now certificates and payments of warrants in batch number CM APR 0812.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-666. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-667, in the matter of granting annexation petition from agent for the petitioner Rebecca A. Kelly Esquire, requesting annexation of .301 acres of land in Berkshire Township to the village of Galena.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-667. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-668, in the matter of approving travel expense requests.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-668. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-669, in the matter of approving a memorandum of understanding between the Delaware Morrow Mental Health and Recovery Services Board, the Court of Common Pleas, Delaware County, Ohio, and the Delaware County Board of Commissioners for the Specialized Docket Subsidiary Project FY 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kristen Schultz, Court Administrator for the General Division of the Common Pleas Court. We're asking you to approve the subsidy that we receive. It's $105,000 split between the 3 specialized dockets of the court.
Okay, discussion vote.
Vote on motion 22-669. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-670.
Thank you.
In the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for juvenile court.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Karen Watkins, Fiscal Coordinator for the Juvenile Court. Over the last 8 months, we've collected more than $9,000 for restitution, and we need an increase in appropriations so we can pay out those victims.
All right. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-670. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Karen.
Resolution number 22-671, in the matter of awarding a bid and approving a contract between the Delaware County Commissioners and 2K General Company Incorporated for the project known as Delaware County Courthouse Build-Out and Renovations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, John Melvin, Director of Facilities. We received 2 bids for the build-out and renovation for the current courthouse. 2K General was a low bid, and they were under the estimate. Second bid was from Elford, so reviewed the bids, reviewed the scope of them, and recommending approval.
Okay, any discussion?
Yeah, what timeline do we have?
Timeline, unfortunately, although it's a simple renovation, there's currently a 30-week lead time for door hardware, so they're not looking to complete this until May of next year because of that lead time issue. So hopefully we can work and maybe get a couple areas done with some existing door hardware and doors in place, so we'll work with them to expedite some areas, in particular the 5th District Judge area, but yeah, with 22-week lead time for hardwood doors and 30-week lead time for door hardware, it pushes the project out.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the district court judge.
Yep.
So that one, she won't move until
But
then?
worst case scenario is May of next year, but like I say, number of doors and number of existing hardware we have, we should be able to work with them, maybe expedite that area on the 300 level.
Okay. Would So we'll continue to pay rent.
I need to contact them, and we'll need to extend the lease.
Okay. Is she on the third floor?
She'll be on the third floor,
Okay.
300 level.
Okay, thank you. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-671. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-672, in the matter of approving a transfer of funds and supplemental appropriations.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Karen First, Fiscal Manager, and we're asking your approval on the following. The first is the transfer of funds, which represents the second quarter casino revenue distributed to the county, and we're transferring it to the Capital Projects Fund to help offset the cost of the Bixby Campus project. And then the supplemental appropriations are needed in order to post the auditor and treasurer fees for the property tax collections of the special assessments. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments? Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-672. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
On item number
Thanks, Karen.
10, one of the items was pulled, so I'm going to skip that when I read it. Resolution number 22-673, in the matter of approving the plats of subdivision for the reserve at Scioto Bluff, Liberty Grand District Section 8, Phases A and B.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Lee Bodnar, Administrator for the County Engineer. Before you for your consideration, the reserve at Scioto Bluffs is 15 lots off of Butts Road in Concord Township, and Liberty Grand's District, Section 8A and B, are both off of Liberty Grand's Boulevard in Liberty Township. These plats have been reviewed by all agencies that are required, and we would recommend your approval.
Okay. Questions, comments? Vote.
Vote on motion 22-673. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-674, in the matter of awarding a bid and approving a contract between the Delaware County Commissioners and Double Z Construction Company for the project named Dell US 36 19.93 US 36 and Carter's Corners Intersection Improvement Project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, for your approval and your consideration, this is a reconstruction of US 36, Domigan Road and Carter's Corners Road. It's to add left turn lanes and to set the stage for future traffic signalization installation. There were 2 bids received. This was actually a rebid of the project. 2 bids were received this time. Shelley and Sands bid $3.1 million. Double Z Construction was $2.8 million, and we would recommend approval of Double Z for the construction.
What timeframe we talking about here, Lee?
I do not have the exact time frame on that, and I apologize, but I will get you that information. I would assume that it will commence this year.
Okay.
I do not know the finalization, though, and I will get you that this afternoon for
Okay.
sure.
That'd be good. Thank you.
Carter's Corner again is where?
Up by US 36.
Okay, okay.
Near Kirk.
West of Sunbury, east of.
Oh, okay, okay.
The Benton Tree Golf Course. I'm sure
Oh,
everybody-
yeah,
That puts it on
of
the map,
course,
the golf course.
there we go. Yes. Okay, vote please.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Vote on motion 22-674. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-675, in the matter of approving a speed limit reduction on River Road, County Road 187.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, for your consideration, this is a reduction on River Road, which is in Radnor Township. It is located between David Road and Dildine Road, and it's a reduction from 55 miles an hour to 45 miles an hour. It has been reviewed by our agency and also ODOT, and so we would recommend your approval.
When would it go into effect?
Pardon me?
When would it go into effect?
Upon your approval and then signage placement.
Okay.
Okay, vote please.
Vote on motion 22-675. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-676, in the matter of approving owners' agreements for Mauve Meadows.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, this is 35 lots off of Cheshire Road in Berlin Township. This is for road construction and improvement installation, and it's been reviewed, and it shall be reviewed and inspected by our agency upon completion and throughout the construction, and we would recommend your approval.
Yeah, I have to ask, what is the correct pronunciation?
I would go with mauve.
No, okay,
That's what I would go with. But I could be wrong.
okay.
So if I am wrong, you can blame me.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
we'll do that.
can't wait to see it, gee. Vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-676. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye,
Resolution number 22-677, in the matter of approving right-of-way work permit summary sheet.
So moved.
second.
Discussion.
Yes, Commissioners, this is 5 standard utility permits with nothing out of the ordinary to share.
Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 22-677. Mr. Benton?
Aye,
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
thanks, Lee.
Our Director of Communications, James Hawes, has a discussion on one of our Community Enhancement Grant Program recipients.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Jane Hawes, Director of Communications. We want to bring to your attention one of the recipients of our Community Enhancement Grant Awards, Stock Hands Horses for Healing. They received we had awarded them $7,555 for the refurbishment of their outdoor arena. And sort of while we were going through that whole process, a donor came forward and gave them money specifically for that project. So they, to their credit, were willing to return the award or not use it, but we asked if they had anything else in terms of a capital improvement project that they could apply that money to, and they came forward with, it's a pasture fence project. It would be for the same amount. So we want to get your input in terms of whether you think it's still valid to, keep the money with them, or if you would rather subsume it back into the fund, so.
I personally think we ought to see more detail. I don't think it'd be appropriate.
I do have detail, I can provide it to you, yeah.
I'm not sure how fair it is to the other people who made requests, so I have some reservations. I guess I haven't seen the detail that you're referring to. Maybe I've got an email that I haven't looked at.
Okay, no, we can forward that to you, yeah.
I think they're doing great work, I know that, and so I would certainly support it, but I'm fine with getting more detail.
Okay,
Yeah, same place, I think it makes sense to get the detail so we can review it, but, conceptually, I'm open to redeploy or moving those funds to a different project at the same organization.
okay. So I guess, Eric, I need your input as well. If I provide the detail to them, what are the next steps? Come back and then again, okay, all right, and then would it be more an action item rather than discussion? Are they taking action with this to reallocate it?
Not necessarily. That can be done administratively.
Okay, very good. All right, well then I will
Okay.
get that information to you and we'll revisit this.
Okay,
Okay, all
okay,
right,
thank you, Jane.
Item number 16, resolution number 22-678, in the matter of approving a supplemental appropriation for administrative services.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dawn Houston, Deputy Administrator. These two supplemental appropriations are necessary. First, for the Self-Insured Workers' Comp Fund. We had budgeted this year $350,000 in claims costs, and we're getting very close to that limit, unfortunately. Our claims costs have increased quite a bit this year, just due to, I think, more expensive claims, not necessarily more claims overall. So we are asking for $150,000 to be moved from our reserve fund into the claims fund in order to be able to continue to make those payments. The second one is for the flexible spending accounts. That is for $145,000. This is basically due in part to our revenue so far that we have brought in from employees that contribute at $240,000, and our expenditures so far are $344,000. We had allowed employees to carry over their contributions from 2021. That was an IRS approved carryover that we then passed on to our employees because of COVID. They didn't have the chance to spend those funds. So this additional amount, I think, that we're seeing is due in part to employees that have used those funds that they had allotted for 2021 into 2022.
Okay, we talked in the hallway, and
We did.
I'm going to repeat just for the benefit, so we're all on the same page. In theory, those dollars that were transferred to this year should be working towards that balance, and theoretically, and I realize employees who maybe had expenses and then left, we don't get those back. But, and you were going to check to see if in fact that balance was transferred over, because I have trouble understanding the $145,000, understanding where those dollars, has there been an auditing of those funds? Make sure we're.
Yes, and we are working with Ameriflex to get the data from them in terms of employees that left and we contributed to their FSA. I believe that those are probably pretty minimal. We only have about 250 employees that have elected flexible spending accounts. And Karen actually ran a report for me this morning that shows since 2017, when we started the FSAs, we're actually in we have a difference of $52,812 to the county's the county's credit. So over those 5-6 years, we are operating in the black. It just so happens that this year we haven't collected as much as what has been spent in terms of claims.
But in theory, at the end of the year, those should wash out.
They should.
So
yes.
if at the end of the year, when they wash out theoretically, is this money going to be returned to the general fund?
It stays in the fund, yes. It stays in the fund.
And you're being an accountant background, you may have more
No,
questions.
I understand it. I mean,
Yeah,
it should zero out over time.
yeah. So,
Th-
and
this-
could we, I'd like to see at some point, let's say a summary, an audit statement, or somehow how this money's been transferred over and where we
Sure.
are, and because Ameriflex should be providing that on some
Yes.
regular basis.
We have that not only with Ameriflex we can get, but then also through One Solution. So we can show what our bills have been, and then what employees have paid in and what we've budgeted.
Yeah,
So
I'd
I
like
will
to
get that
see-
to you.
I'd like to see the ones that left and had a deficit in their account. I'd like to see maybe an accounting or tracking of that, just FYI. I agree, I don't think it's gonna be very much.
Yeah,
And if not, then in theory, most of this money should come back.
correct.
It wouldn't go in the general fund, though, would it? It would just stay in the reserve fund.
It stays in the reserve fund, yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, vote please.
Vote on motion 22-678. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Resolution number 22-679, in the matter of approving a professional services agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners and Byers, Minton and Associates LLC for government affairs consulting services for Delaware County.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion.
Tracy Davies, County Administrator. This is a contract requires Minton and Associates for government affairs consulting, just to make sure that the needs of the county and our residents are appropriately reflected at the State House.
Yeah, just kind of an editorial comment. We are consistently shortchanged in the dollars that we send to Columbus versus the dollars we get back for helping with education, with roads, with economic development initiatives, and the Byers
Right.
firm is one of the best at just developing those relationships, telling our story, because we've got great things that we can do if we just get a little better funding from the state, so.
Right.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. When you brought it to my attention, that this is something that we were looking into. I think this county has grown to the point that that we need that kind of input and
Advocacy.
support. And because I do think we get shortchanged, for lack of a better term, many times, and having somebody have a little more visibility and can make our case, I think would be beneficial to all of us. So, great idea.
Vote please.
Vote on motion 22-679. Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Administrator reports.
Nothing else.
I would like us to defer our commissioner reports until after we have an executive session. We have need for executive session, and then we are going to have a hearing. If we could defer those until
Okay.
later.
All right. Item number 21, resolution number 22-680, in the matter of adjourning into executive session for consideration of employment and compensation of a public employee or public official and for pending or imminent litigation.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion. Vote.
Vote on motion 22-680. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Merrill?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We're now recessed into research.
Thank you.